Well, the Algerian government is opening its airspace to allow the delivery of humanitarian medical aid to Morocco. Algeria had banned flights to its neighbour and severed ties 2 years ago over Moroccan territorial claims to the disputed region of Western Sahara. Well, let's bring in Lassen Haddad. He's a Moroccan senator and a former minister. He joins us now from Rabat. Senator, as we've been saying, these areas are incredibly remote. How is search and rescue going at the moment?
Well, I mean, like it's very, very high kind of mountains, and some of the villages are really isolated. And then the road between Marrakesh and Taroudant is a sinuous road. And when there is any kind, I mean, like when there is heavy rains or heavy snows, and when there is also like earthquake, like what happened, then the road also is blocked because there are all kinds of rocks that block the road. So you need to do that kind of clearing the road, and that happened like early morning on Saturdays for the ambulances to go and then get to people who are injured, and also for the teams, I mean, to come and then start the really, really heroic rescue operation and they're going, and then to have a sense of the full picture. You are going through some sinuous roads, like over tens and tens of kilometers as you're going from Marrakesh to Taroudant, and there are villages scattered on the right and on the left over like a radius of about 40 kilometers this way and 40 kilometers this way. And those villages, you need to go through roads, and sometimes the roads are not paved, so you have to bring in the army in order to get to the population in villages, and then you start the rescue mission at the same time that you are evacuating the injured, and some of the injured will be evacuated just to a makeshift hospital that has been built by the army, and some of them are taken by helicopters if you cannot use ambulances because of the cases that they have there. And then you need to provide them with water, and you need to provide them with food. Some of the communities are really, really far away, and then they have been reached only yesterday afternoon. Some of them probably like during the night, but there are like on the local level, some help that is being done by the local authorities within those kinds of villages and volunteers, but also with what you call civil protection. It's a very heroic effort that the rescue teams from the army, from the civil protection, from the gendarmerie, and from, I mean, like, are doing. And then it's a very multi kind of pronged kind of operation, because you need to rescue people who are under the rubble, you need to get the injured, you need to also get those who are dead. It's a very, very complex kind of operation in a very high terrain, some of it really not accessible. In villages, like 80% of them are built the traditional way. You can see that villages have been wiped out, but you can see that the modern buildings, for example, a mosque or a house that has been built in modern ways has not been destroyed. So, but there are villages which have been wiped out. So
and we're seeing those pictures, Senator. Obviously, huge logistics challenges that you're describing there. But are you now convinced, or confident at least, that all of the communities that need help have been reached, or are there still villages that the government has not been able to help yet?
No, I think with the army has a lot of know-how and knows the terrain very well, because the army intervenes every winter in order to deal with population that is being strapped there because of the snow. So when there is the snow, the army will get in and then build like villages, build like hospitals, and then evacuate people and deal with them in terms of food and all of that. So they know the terrain, they know how to intervene. They have done that in Africa and all of that. So with the army, with the helicopters, with the airlifts and all of that, I think most of the communities will have been reached. Probably there are a few villages here and there, because these are very scattered communities over very high mountains.
Indeed.
And in some valleys, and it's not like a linear thing. I mean, it's very, very, and you are talking about like 4 provinces. The central province is the Hos, but where Rabat has been hit, Taroudant on the south has been hit, Shishawa on the west also has been hit, and in each of those there are communities. And when we're talking about communities, these are scores of communities that need to be reached and all of that. I think with the logistical might of the army, I think most of the communities might have been reached. But I think it's a real heroic effort that is being undergoing in order to deal with the population, in order to rescue.
It certainly sounds that way. Senator, sorry, I do want to ask you, because this was an unusually strong quake. Obviously, Morocco has had to grapple with earthquakes before, but this one was particularly strong. I know that people have been told not to go back inside their homes. How long is there a potential danger of aftershocks? When might this kind of guidance from the government change for them?
I think the aftershock is something that nobody will predict, but I mean, most of the experts said that aftershock have happened, but I mean, like, there might be other aftershocks. We don't know, I mean, what kind of magnitude. Generally, they say that aftershocks are like, are weaker, that there are aftershocks that have happened. Is that enough? We don't know. I think even experts, there is no consensus with regard to that. What is sure is that the High Atlas Mountains is on a fault now, is on a very active seismic kind of region. We didn't know that before because, I mean, like, the last kind of earthquake that happened there was 120 years ago. So we thought that there are other places, the Agadir region, the Al Hoceima region are the most active. That's where the effort in terms of anti-seismic kind of construction has been done. But now I think the government needs to pay more attention to the High Atlas Mountains and secure those areas so that they could be safer in the future for the population.
Of course. Lassen Haddad there, a Moroccan senator and also a former minister, speaking to us from Rabat. Sir, thank you so much for joining us here on Al Jazeera, and we wish you and your government all the best in the days to come.
Thank you.